Alright, so I just finished watching the new Candyman film. Bit of a backstory for me, you probably already know this, but I didn't grow up with Candyman. I've heard about him, but I didn't watch the movie until sometime last year. Before the new one was coming out, I watched it on the Sci-Fi On Demand, so it was edited for TV, but I still thought it was pretty good. And then I bought this one. Watched the what's it called? The unrated cut. And I really loved it. I really liked it. So I really enjoyed this. I have not seen the other two sequels, and going into this, they said you don't have to. It's a direct sequel to the first one. Good, because I heard the other two. I heard that the second one was okay, and I heard that the third one was shit. So that's fine. I don't need to watch those. So I just had this. So going into this, I knew that this was a fantastic film, and I wanted to see how they would follow it up. And unfortunately for me, it was a bit of a disappointment. I felt like they dropped the ball on this in quite a few ways. But first and foremost, I do want to say some good things about this film, because there are some good things. First and foremost, I'm standing up for the director, because all through the promotion and all through, when this was coming out, everybody kept saying, Jordan Peele's Candyman. Jordan Peele's doing Candyman. Jordan Peele's Candyman. It's not Jordan Peele. He helped write it, but Nia DaCosta also helped write it, and she directed it. It's not Jordan Peele's. Just because his name is on the project does not mean it's his. He helped write it. That's it. I think he was a producer, too. Produced by Jordan Peele, yeah. And screenplay by Jordan Peele. But directed by Nia DaCosta. Also, I like the cinematography and the direction, the things they do, certain aspects of it, the way they frame certain things, done very well. The acting, also pretty good. The Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who plays our main character, Anthony, does a good job. Also, the woman who plays his wife, also very good. I also like that it's in a modern Chicago setting. I'm very much a Chicago guy. I'm from Minnesota, but I like movies based in Chicago. Home Alone, the original Candyman, etc., 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 that kind of thing. Blues Brothers. So I'm a big Chicago guy. I like the modern Chicago setting. I like that they updated Cabrini Green. It's not still ghetto. They've kind of made it look better, and that's fine, but there's still some gentrification going on. I also like the sort of messages that it brings out. That's another misconception. Everybody who went to see this, not everybody, but there's a lot of people who went to see this and say, oh, it's woke. Don't go see this. It's just woke. Like a lot of the movies come out now, but you don't realize that it's a movie with a message, but so was the original Candyman. There was a lot of that in the original. This is nothing new. This is just because it came out in 2021, all of a sudden it's woke. There's a lot of heavy-handed stuff with the messages in this. Like in the beginning, it takes place in the 70s, and there are these white cops in a cop car when a little black kid comes walking by with laundry, and they're watching him the entire time. Yeah, profiling. As they think he's going to do something. And at the end of this film, spoiler alert, even though the officer is black that arrests her, the wife gets arrested, and he's like, it could be one or two ways. Either your boyfriend attacked the officer, and you were a witness, or you and him were working together, and you killed the officer, you held him down, and he killed him. So you're just gonna frame this woman for something you know she didn't do? Why? Do they know about the Candyman legend? I don't know. But I do like the kind of message thing. I also like the callbacks to the original film. I like that that our main character, I don't like how it's handled, but I like that he's the baby from the first film. We'll get into some of the errors they did with this in a bit, but I like that he's that character. I like the callbacks to the first one. I like talking about Helen and what happened and Cabrini Green and all that stuff. I like all the callbacks to the first film. However, there is quite a few things that got me. So first of all, and this is kind of I can throw away, but they start telling the story of Helen, and it's wrong. They start saying that she committed the murders. And I'm like, no, that's not what happened. What are you doing? You're retconning stuff? No, it's just a tale. Apparently, the police had blamed her, and that's what they do with the wife, too. So, dude, the cops know that Candyman is actually doing this, and they're trying to cover it up. They never explain it. It seems like that with the Helen situation, and then with the Anthony situation at the end. But no one ever clarifies what's going on. The cops not like, we don't want this to spread. We know he's real. We don't want this to spread. So you gotta cooperate. Either we were the heroes or you're a villain. But they never say that. It's basically what they're saying, but they don't outright say it. Also, as much as I like Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, I think he was miscast. Not because he's a bad actor. He's a great actor and he's pretty good in the role. He's too old. I'm sorry, but if you are having a character who is a baby in 1992, hire someone who is that age. I know he's not. I know this guy wasn't born in 1982. This guy is a year older than me. He's 35 years old. All right? Born in 1989. 86. Sorry. 1986. He's a year older than I am. And he looks a year older than I am. How do I know what it... If this takes place in 2019, so whoever it was would have been... So the character of Anthony would be 27 years old. I know what a 27-year-old looks like because my sister was born in 1992, and she's 29 now. But you know, it's been 2 years. Give it a break. This came out in 2020. This came out in 2021. It's supposed to come out in 2020. Takes place in 2019. Give it a break. All right. He does not look like a 27-year-old. He looks like he's in his 30s. And to me, when they say, you knew going in, and that's another thing. You knew going in that he was the baby from the beginning. So why was it a twist? I know it wasn't just for us. It was for him. But we knew who he was. His name is Anthony. The baby's name was Anthony. We're not stupid. The promotional stuff was telling us he's the baby from the first one. So why was it a twist? Why did you frame it like it was a twist? I get it was probably just to be turned around on him. Oh, it was him. Like he goes to see his mother and you see her. And the audience is supposed to be like, oh, wait a minute, that's Anna Marie. Yeah, we should have known she was his mother. Because we should know. I'm sitting there, I knew who he was because I paid attention to the promotional stuff. I knew who he was. So why was there a twist? It confuses me. Alright? Also, a couple of nitpicks. Helen. She's not seen in the film. She's mentioned. But Anthony listens to a voice recording. It's stuff from the first film that she said, but it's been re-recorded. And you can tell that it was re-recorded by a 50-some-odd, 60, however old she is, Virginia Madsen because of her voice. We know Helen was a heavy smoker, and she sounds like it. It's like, oh, Candyman, and she was, and sounds like a heavy smoker. And it sounds very aged. They couldn't just take audio. I understand they want to bring her back in some way, shape, or form. They couldn't just take audio from the first film and put it on there. She was recording into that thing for almost the entire first half of the first film. They couldn't just take voice snippets from that and put it on there. I don't know. And this is another nitpick, but there's a scene where there's these 5 teenage girls who are going to say Candyman 5 times in the mirror at a high school, right? One of them says Candyman once before the rest of them does. And I know we gotta say it together, so they start saying it together. However, Candyman doesn't show up till after all of them had finished saying it 5 times. One of them says it 6 times. As soon as that one girl said it 5 times, he should have shown up. He shouldn't have waited for the rest of them to finish. He should have shown up when she said. I know it's a nitpick. It's a nitpick. But it doesn't make any sense that he waits for the rest of them to finish. No, he comes when he's, when he say it 5 times. And this is not a negative or anything, but I was watching this, and every time they say it, it's in the mirror. And I went, it wasn't that way in the original film. Actually, it was. I looked up some stuff. Yeah, they did say it in the mirror every time. I was thinking of the sequels, which I've never seen, but I've seen reviews for. There, they just say it sometimes, and he shows up. But also, they didn't go on another aspect that they did in the other films. Even the first one is when you don't believe in him, he comes for you. And there are people in this film that don't believe it, and nothing happens. What? I know that was more so in the sequels, but that did happen in the first film too, if I remember correctly. And my biggest negative is the big retcon of Candyman. So, in the original film, it is told to us that Candyman is Daniel Robitaille. There's no one else. Daniel Robitaille is Candyman. Point blank, it is him. They tell his backstory, no others, just his backstory. Here, they tell it like it's an urban legend passed on from person to person to person to person. Albeit a black person, mostly, who kills people, and they're the Candyman. And I just scratch my head, I'm like, no, that's not how it works. Don't retcon it. And why? Because Tony Todd is getting old, and they want to pass it on to someone else. So they retconned the story, the backstory, to tell you, oh, it's just a different person taking up the mantle of Candyman, and eventually they get supernatural abilities when they die? No. It's Daniel Robitaille. He's the only Candyman. You can't fuck with the lore. Alright? And another thing. Okay, I just want to fucking tell you, I didn't hate this movie. I thought it was okay. But I didn't like some of the story elements they went into. The kills. All of them are either cut away from a distance, or you don't get like the right kind of view of them. There's a couple of times you see something, but like there's one kill that's someone's getting killed behind a bathroom stall, or from behind and you don't see it. You never see anything on screen. There's some blood, there's some gore a little bit, but you never see anything on screen. And that bugs me. I know there wasn't a lot of that in the original, but there was some. Like, you see Ted Raimi get skewered. You see that professor guy, or the doctor guy, whoever he was, get skewered. You see Trevor get skewered. Here, you don't see anything. It's all covered behind something or from a distance. Nothing. And my biggest negative with Candyman himself is that we never really get to see Tony Todd as the character. You see Anthony, you see another character, but you don't see Tony Todd until the end. And I feel like that's a big middle finger to Tony Todd in this. I feel like it's a big middle finger to the character of Candyman. Tony Todd is Candyman. No one else is Candyman. You can't just, after, from 1992 to 2020, after 28 years of him being Candyman, you can't just say, oh, we want to move on, and he can't play Candyman forever, so we're just going to retcon stuff. And we're going to retcon stuff and say, oh, anyone can be Candyman. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. Tony Todd is Candyman. Daniel Robitaille is Candyman. Alright? And the fact that we don't get to see him as Candyman until the very fucking end is bullshit. Like, going in, you saw the trailers, and you obviously knew Anthony was going to be the Candyman. But I was hoping they would do something creative, because trailers lie, where it only looks like he's Candyman. Like, he's seeing visions of Candyman killing, and he's connected. And he sees it as him doing it, but it's not really him. You know, it's actually Daniel Robitaille. But no, it's been him the entire time. And then he dies, and then at the end, his wife says Candyman 5 times in the rearview mirror. And, what do you call it? Is that a rearview mirror? In the middle of your car, that rearview mirror? Yeah, because the side mirrors, rearview mirror. And he shows up, beast all covered over his face. I'm sitting there going, don't do it. Don't do it now, because you've shown that it's been Anthony this entire time. Don't do it now. Don't do it now. And yeah, when the cop gets out, he runs, and Candyman gets in front, bees dissipate, and it's Daniel Robitaille. Tony Todd. De-aged, pretty good, but it's him. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. You can't, tell us it's been Anthony the entire time killing people, and then at the end say, hey, look, it's the Candyman you know. No, either have it be Tony Todd the entire time or Anthony the entire time. You can't retcon something and then at the end of your film say, hey, look, it's the real Candyman. No, you can't do that, because you told us that each different incarnation of it's a different incarnation of Candyman per person. So he shouldn't look like Daniel Robitaille, he should look like Anthony. It doesn't make any sense. All in all, this film frustrates me. Because I know it's not a bad film by any stretch from imagination. But if I want to watch a Candyman film, I'm going to watch the original. This just, it missed the mark for me. And unfortunately, at least for me, I'm going to say it's not worth your time. Before I even started this review, I said, okay, it's going to be middle of the road. And then the ending happened. And I went, no. If they had left Tony Todd out of the film completely, I'd have been mad. But I wouldn't understand what they were trying to say. The fact that they retconned stuff and were saying all the stuff they were saying to then just throw Tony Todd in our faces at the end, you can't do that. You can't say, oh, it's a different incarnation of Candyman. Daniel Robitaille was one of them, and now Anthony is one. But then having him turn into Daniel Robitaille at the end makes no sense. Other than, hey, look, it's Tony Todd. Fan service. That's it. So no, for me, Candyman is not worth your time. I'm sorry to say it, but it's not. So what are your thoughts on Candyman? Comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. By the way, can we stop naming direct sequels to films with the same name? Halloween, Candyman, Texas Chainsaw, it counts. Stop it. You could have called this Candyman Resurrection or Candyman Legacy. Something like that. Stop just calling stuff by the same name. Unless this was a reboot. It's not a reboot. It's a sequel. It makes no sense. Because you got Candyman and the sequel, Candyman. That makes no sense to me. But, yeah, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.